If you're a fan of 1970s sitcoms, you would most likely recognize Lauren Tews as Julie McCoy from The Love Boat. This role was Tews' first major acting role, but can also be considered the beginning of the end of her acting career. Join Facts First to discover what happened to Lauren Tews after The Love Boat and why you don't see her anymore. Lauren Tews as Julie McCoy. One day before production on The Love Boat began, Lauren Tews, who was only 23 years old, was chosen from a group of 100 actresses to play cruise director Julie McCoy. This was her big break, and it came at the perfect time. She was penniless just years earlier, struggling to make ends meet as a waitress. Her mother also died during this time, leaving Tews entirely on her own. After getting cast as McCoy, Tews barely made it to set because of car troubles. She had no choice but to borrow money to make the necessary repairs and hope that The Love Boat would be a success. Of course, this risk paid off, and she spent the next several years on one of the most popular shows on television. The character was similar to writer Geraldine Saunders, whose book, Love Boats, released in 1974, was the main inspiration for the series. The author is known for being the first woman to achieve the post of cruise director in the Princess Cruises group, and her book is a retelling of the stories she experienced while on the job. The first episode of The Love Boat aired on May 5, 1977, and the show kept running on ABC's weekly schedule until 1986. The show was mostly set aboard the Pacific Princess, an actual ship that sailed for Princess Cruises between 1975 and 2002. But filming occasionally also happened on other ships, including the twin-vessel Island Princess, another ship that sailed for Princess Cruises. The filming crew was known to film cruise passengers as extras, and given the popularity of the series, passengers were keen on taking cruises to get a chance to be featured on the show. The popularity contributed immensely to the popularity of Princess Cruises. Tickets aboard the Pacific Princess and the Island Princess were often sold for double their price. Sadly, both cruise ships were destroyed, the first one in Turkey in 2013 and the second one in India in 2015, after no buyers came forward with any interest in the ships. Julie McCoy's secret job on The Love Boat. While Lauren Tews' character was the cruise director, she took on a very specific role that isn't traditionally part of the job. Viewers might remember that Julie McCoy was often seen helping people make social connections. In a recent interview, Tews revealed that it was much more than helping people find love. In reality, Julie McCoy's job was helping cruise guests find hookups. Although some people may remember the show being innocent, people were upset with the show for exploring so many sexual relationships. Ted Lang, who played the role of the ship's bartender, echoed this idea. His job was to keep the drinks flowing so that guests could stay loose and follow through on the hookups arranged by Julie McCoy. Still, this was part of the charm of The Love Boat. It was known for having high-caliber guest appearances by some of the most recognizable names on television. For example, one episode featured the beautiful Loretta Swit, known primarily as Hot Lips Houlihan from MASH. During the episode, she's married to a character played by Richard Mulligan, who's known as Bert from Soap. And the episode also features Robert Reed as the ex-husband, who is, of course, Mike Brady. The Love Boat was one of the only places on TV where you could see so many beloved actors all hooking up on a fantastical and romantic cruise line. Many people agree that this is the show's appeal, but unfortunately, it's what critics had an issue with. Tews' struggle behind the scenes. The growing popularity of the series led to massive fame for the Love Boat cast, most of all Lauren Tews. Unfortunately, this kind of fame often leads to substance abuse and other challenges, and the Love Boat cast was not exempt from this danger. Lauren's case was the first. When speaking about her experience, Tews revealed that she was struggling behind the scenes while filming. She was dealing with an addiction to cocaine, a drug presented to her right after she landed the role. She was peer pressured into trying it, which turned into an escalating drug addiction that affected her career. Specifically, she admitted her substance abuse had an impact on her job and lowered her overall productivity. Tews would sleep on set and, on many occasions, completely failed to show up for filming. She spent most of the money she made fueling her addiction. Eventually, she realized her situation was unsustainable and decided it was time to get help. Sadly, this realization came a little too late. After the 7th season of The Love Boat, Tews was fired and her contract wasn't renewed. The producers couldn't rely on her to perform, so she was replaced by actress Pat Klaus, who played Judy McCoy, the younger sister of Lauren Tews' character. Although Tews takes responsibility for her actions and their consequences, she's expressed issues with the narrative that followed her departure. It wasn't long before her addiction became publicly known, and even today, more than 35 years later, her image is still affected by her years of addiction. Lauren Tews after The Love Boat. When discussing the aftermath of the situation, Lauren Tews acknowledges that we are more understanding of addiction today than we were years ago. She feels she didn't receive the sympathetic treatment that people would today. Instead of encouraging her to seek help, the producers ignored her requests and kicked her off the show. Tews also revealed she wasn't the only cast member struggling with substances. She claims there was lots of drug and alcohol abuse among the cast, especially in the late 70s. Even though she had reached out for help, she was the only cast member fired with no opportunity to negotiate otherwise. Fortunately, Tews later recovered and even returned to The Love Boat. She made a guest appearance in 1985, as well as an appearance on the 1998 reunion episode The Love Boat: The Next Wave. She was able to land a few additional roles after The Love Boat. She had a recurring role on the drama series The Fugitive, which ran on CBS between 2000 and 2001, where she played Linda Westerschultz, a police detective. In 1985, she also played Dot Bailey, one of the main characters in the pilot of Anything for Love, but NBC didn't pick up the pilot. Lauren Tews continued her career by doing some voiceover work for commercials and video games, and she enrolled as a student in culinary school to become a cheese specialist. Nowadays, when she's not partaking in her acting career, she also has a job as a sous chef for a catering company in Seattle. Facts about Lauren Tews. If you're unaware about Lauren's upbringing, it may shed some light on her later life experiences. She was born in Braddock, Pennsylvania, October 26, 1953, to Joanne and Joseph Robert Tews. Her father was a wood pattern maker, and even though she spent her early childhood years in a town near Pittsburgh, her family moved to California when she was 8. She went to study at Rio Hondo College, where she majored in theater arts. She was later offered a scholarship and transferred to the University of California, Riverside. In 1973, following the termination of her scholarship, Lauren dropped out of college, and 1 year later, her career break happened when she landed the role in a Lipton tea advertisement. This appearance was her first acting job, kicking off her career. For several years, she continued acting in commercials. Then she leveled up to small parts in successful TV shows, including Charlie's Angels, Vegas, Family, and Starsky and Hutch. Her appearance in Starsky and Hutch captured the attention of Aaron Spelling, the producer of The Love Boat. With this appearance, she was able to secure her largest role as Julie McCoy of The Love Boat. Now it's time to hear from you. Who did you prefer more on The Love Boat, Julie McCoy or Judy McCoy? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.